The educational organization CARDET is proud to present the European Awareness Project, Time for Change, promoting sustainable consumption and production of raw materials in the context of the European Year of Development 2015, and beyond. For the period 2015 to 2018, in Cyprus and in collaboration with 11 European partners. The aim of the project was to provide awareness about violent practices of the extractive industries around the world, and to promote a more sustainably responsible future, based on political action and trying to shift our consumption practices to be more sustainable. CARDET undertook the project during the Year of Development 2015, which was the first year in the history of European years, which focused on global rather than domestic challenges. The partnership created the campaign Stop Mad Mining. Our goal was to support the European Parliament and the EU Commission to enact legislation that would protect the vulnerable populations of this brutal trade. Through the partnership, 42,000 people signed our petition supporting the passage of a supply chain due diligence legislation for all companies based in the European Union. Globalization has been connecting businesses and people across the world for over 30 years, through trade, outsourcing production, global consumerism and the internet. The ability of companies to use global competition to maximize their profits, by pushing for continuously lower production costs, translates into worsening work conditions around the world. The neoliberal push for less regulations has given rise to a number of unethical business practices, ranging from extreme tax avoidance and evasion, to no health and safety for workers, to trading in areas with active wars. Trading with warlords to acquire raw materials, in countries where violence is the law of the land, and production uses forced labor and horrific working conditions, is called the conflict mineral trade. Companies operate under the framework See No Evil, Speak No Evil, Hear No Evil. Conflict mineral trade exists to feed the consumer electronics industry, which is valued at $271 billion per year worldwide, and is bringing awesome profits to companies. We believe that a fair share of those profits should be provided as compensation to everyone involved in the production. By raising the ethical and labor standards, conflict mineral trade will stop, and legitimate businesses will be able to set up shop in these countries. Through the Stop Mad Mining campaign, the partnership commissioned a number of local and international studies. The biggest one was a 3-month report by international journalist organization Dan Watch on issues of irresponsible practices related to the mining sector in Mozambique and Zambia. CARDET funded 3 studies for Cyprus, 1, related to the issues of waste management practices of electrical products, the second on the current state of extractive industries in Cyprus, and their relationship with the environment and the communities, and last, on the consumption behavior in terms of consumer electronics by Cypriots. Additionally, we funded educational trips to international conferences for journalists, industry experts, and academics, with the aim of creating local multipliers that would act as agents of change in their respective fields. In terms of lobbying and awareness, CARDET organized 2 international conferences and a speakers tour. These created opportunities for collaborations with other Cypriot civil society organizations and academics, by bringing highly motivated and knowledgeable speakers from all over the world to interact with stakeholders from the government, academia, industry and the general public, and allow them to exchange views, share their global knowledge, and to try connecting them to Cypriot experiences. Through our websites, Ethical Mining and Stop Mad Mining, as well as in our Facebook page Stop Mad Mining, we provided a resource that will sustain the knowledge we gathered throughout the project, and it was an effective way to keep people updated, engaged, and active on the current issues related to the extraction industry in the world, as well as calls for citizens to act through various events. CARDET staff also supported and participated in annual national awareness fairs, like the Eco Festival, the Environmental Fair, the Youth Festival, and the Non-Government Organizations Fair. These events allow people to interact with the civil society and learn about initiatives that inspire them. We discussed, shared information and knowledge and understand their views and priorities. We are truly thankful for all the people we interacted with. In the same spirit, CARDET collaborated with local municipalities and academic institutions who work under the same general principles of global sustainability, to increase the reach to non-civil aware populations. Another partnership we are very proud of is with the international campaign Stand with Congo and the screening of their award-winning documentary, When Elephants Fight, all over the island. These screenings provided the most effective catalyst for people to understand the problem of conflict minerals in the Democratic Republic of Congo, in all its complexity, and to motivate them to take action. Finally, we felt that a dissemination strategy should not be limited to formal and mainstream avenues but should experiment on multiple creative outlets in order to maximize its reach and sustainability. This has led us to reach out to people with roadside billboards, radio spots, and a short animation film that attempts to explain the issue of conflict minerals in Congo. Please enjoy a short excerpt from it now.
This pretty cool new smartphone is impressive, but look a little closer. What happened before it got into your hands? When we think of modern technology, we imagine everything as bright and perfect. In reality, what goes into making these devices is anything but perfect. The minerals tantalum, tin, tungsten, and gold are all integral to building our smartphones, laptops, tablets, and other consumer electronics. While the quantities may be small when looking at individual devices, there are more than 7 billion phones in the world, and every year an additional 1.25 billion smartphones are being sold. Add televisions, computers, and other electronics and industry devices to that, and, well, you get the picture. These minerals have a dark history behind them. They are known as the 3TG conflict minerals. Unfortunately, large quantities of these minerals can be found in areas of civil war, and where criminal warlords rule, such as the Democratic Republic of Congo and Colombia. They are the best finance tool for local warlords, hence the term conflict minerals. Even worse, their value is measured in grams instead of tons, so they can be easily smuggled. These areas are full of armed conflicts that result in rape, torture, murder. The working conditions are based on violent practices such as child labor or forcible dangerous work for the local communities. Rather than presenting a CV and experiencing a sit-down interview, you're more likely to be voluntarily hired at gunpoint with your life or your family at threat. Or you might be forced to collaborate to escape from extreme poverty. It's also unlikely that your work conditions will have a nice communal area with a coffee machine. Instead, you'll be forced into dark, wildly hot mine shafts, dug by hand, with next to no health and safety precautions, working 10 to 12-hour shifts. However, the compensation has to be pretty worthwhile, right? Not so much. Workers receive a tiny percentage of the profits from their work, whilst armed groups take most of the profits that enter the region. Thinking of the big picture, a ratio sticks in mind: 1/3. Organizing and managing a multi-tiered, multinational global production process is a logistical and transportation nightmare. But it actually costs the companies only $1 out of every $3 they take in as profits. That's an astonishing number. And these are not poor companies. These are some of the biggest and more profitable companies in the whole world, especially considering the very low tax rates and tax avoidance among big players in this industry. Add to that the lack of priority for environmental practices and the resulting environmental disasters, whose bill is footed by taxpayers in different countries. But what can we do about this? Do people like us have any power? Well, yes, we do. It's time we see the realities of global production as they are and not let ourselves be the enablers of crimes. The internet has raised awareness about the atrocities occurring in these regions where companies are exploiting for cheap materials. While the real sustainable solution is to gain control of our consumption habits and choose to consume what we need rather than what we are offered, what we have to do now is search for products with sustainability in mind and make the responsible choice. There are some alternatives. We must make more informed customer decisions. This will force companies to address their shortcomings by adopting more rigorous and responsible methods. On the other hand, this is an actual emergency that is resulting in people getting murdered, suppressed, and raped. Governments have to act fast. Processes are underway, but our actions will help them resist powerful industry interests. One person cannot shift the balance of power, but together we can. It's time for all of us to be the change that we want to see.
We hope we have convinced you to slowly try to transform into responsible consumers by incorporating global responsibility in your consumption decisions. Visit our websites Ethical Mining and Stop Mad Mining, as well as our Facebook page at Stop Mad Mining, and check our videos understanding the problem of conflict minerals in all video sharing platforms.